Hello there, people of YouTube. So, welcome back to another video, and shock horror, it's not a show day one. So you guys have seen Kez the posing coach a lot now, but I want to give a little insight to Kez the bodybuilder slash athlete, and yes, I just referred to myself in the third person. So what we're going to do is an extremely fun full day of eating. I want to say extremely fun, I mean 2,000 calories worth of white fish and veg. So if you like that, stay tuned. But in all seriousness, we're on a little bit of a diet at the minute. So I'm actually 12 weeks into my pre-prep diet. And the aim of this is just to get a lot of body fat off pretty quickly to put me in a better position for next year's prep, so I'm not starting it completely fat and out of shape. For those of you that like numbers, I started out at 207 pounds. And this morning, I was actually a new low weigh-in of 182.6. So just under 25 pounds lost in 12 weeks, which is about 2 pounds a week, which is pretty ideal to be fair. One thing that's been very different about this diet is I've had to diet on the lowest food I've ever done in my entire life, which is pretty interesting. So typically like I'm in the mid 2000s in terms of calories, maybe towards the lower 2000s at the end, but for the most part it's been pretty manageable. But on this diet, I noticed like I hit a couple of plateaus with regards to weight and fat loss. So we've had to dig like a fair bit deeper to the point where on my training days, I'm on about 2,000 calories. And then on my rest days, I'm on about 1,800 calories. That's like food that I'd be on like the depths of prep when I'm at my leanest. And body composition wise, like I'm not there yet. And it just goes to show different people need to diet on different amounts of food. A lot of young people get discouraged when they see people like dieting on 3,500 calories or something like that. And they think, oh, well, because this guy's massive, he can diet on more calories. And yes, that can be the case. But a lot of like the top pro bodybuilders have to dig pretty deep with their calories. So at the end of the day, you've got to do what you've got to do to get in shape. I think one thing I've learned is just suck it up and just do it. Just do the work at the end of the day. No one cares like how you got to the point on stage. You've just got to do it at the end of the day. So it's all right. It is what it is. As I've gotten older, my food focus has gotten less, I would say. I don't really care about that. It's more the lack of energy that I'm feeling at this point now, especially like in the middle of training sessions. Sometimes I'm having like those hypo feelings. The worst thing for me, it's actually like the pumps. I absolutely love training to get a pump, and when it's just not quite there and you're just like doing a bicep curl and you can't feel anything, yeah, it's pretty peak. Anyways, we're actually nearly done with the diet, so we have got maybe a few days left. So this is why I wanted to film the YouTube video. How we're gonna do it is we're gonna go maybe some footage about what I'm doing throughout the day, then we're gonna go into the actual meals themselves. Start off with what I normally do is electrolytes, which I've had. I'll have like a black coffee as well. Bro's stimmed out at the minute. It's how I'm getting through this diet with your boy Saitama. And then I have my morning subs as well. I might like do a separate video on what I actually have and why. But basically omegas, curcumin, vitamin C, vitamin D3 and K2, and something else that I forgot. Psyllium husk, that's the other thing I have, which is like a fiber supplement. Anyways, I'm gonna can you scran coffee? I'm gonna down this coffee and then get into some admin work, and then I will catch you for meal one. Alrighty then, so we've got meal one now. It's actually a little bit different from my normal meal one. So normally, my white fish of choice is besa, but I have cod today. Reason being is I was traveling from the show yesterday and literally the only white fish they had was cod. But pro tip, if you are needing to have white fish in your diet, I would recommend besa. It's a lot cheaper than cod. It's probably half the price, and it doesn't stink out your apartment as well or your house when you actually cook it. So yeah, besa, much less fishy if you're not into too fishy stuff. Besa, much less fishy and cheaper, so get that. Anyways, we've got cod. I've got 200 grams of that. I've got some sourdough, and probably not like the wisest choice if you're dieting, to be honest, just in terms of how much you're getting volume wise for your calories, but I like it. And I've got some almond butter on that for some fats. So I think it's like 100 grams of sourdough and then 10 grams of almond butter. And then we've got a little bit of fruit, so we've got like some pineapple and mango as well. With me, I like to train with food in me, so with some carbs in me. So my first 2 meals, which are before I train, will have a decent amount of carbs. Some people like pro fat for the first meal. If I can get away with having some carbs, I will. And then with any meals that I have with carbs, I have like a digestive enzyme as well. When I'm having higher carbs, I'll have a glucose disposal agent, but when you're on 200 grams of carbs a day on a training day, definitely does not warrant that. Anyways, we're gonna get into the meal now and then we'll catch up after that. Right then, that is meal 1 boxed off. Apologies if the noise sounds weird, I'm on a busy road at the minute. But we have switched to my iPhone 16 Pro Max because I do not wanna be that guy filming in public with like a massive camera. If you've seen my camera and the lens, yeah, I'd look like a bit of a wally walking around in public like that. And that just gets into my next topic. So this is like the concept of like filming yourself and being self-conscious of that. Like when I started like doing the Instagram thing with social media and fitness and everything, like I was really apprehensive about even speaking on camera, like even to my stories. I just felt super nervous and that I was being judged by everyone. And the same was when I started YouTube as well. I'm like, are people gonna think I'm weird? And honestly, people might think that, but at the end of the day, if you're providing some level of value and some level of like relatability, who cares at the end of the day if people are judging you? I'm getting the weirdest angles ever. But yeah, who cares? Who cares who's judging you? Because at the end of the day, I feel like everything that I'm doing is somewhat of a net positive, and that's only a good thing. And then through speaking on camera, you only get more confident with it over time. So just put yourself out there. Don't be scared to speak in public. Good things will happen. Also, after every single one of my meals, I like to go on a hashtag digestion walk. In all seriousness, right, like I do feel like there is merit in this, and if you just have your meals and you're sitting there slouching about at a desk, I just feel like the food does not sit as well, and you just feel sluggish and lethargic all the time. And ultimately, as a physique athlete, like you want the food to digest well, and you want to keep that waist small. If that food is just sitting in your stomach, not ideal. So get moving after your meals, go for a walk, feel refreshed. Trust me, you'll feel better, your training will be better, your insulin sensitivity will be better, and generally, you shall feel better. Anyways, we're gonna get into some posing sessions now, and I'll catch you at meal 2. Right then, this has been my go-to pre-workout meal since I started training pretty much. It just sits so well. It's absolutely banging. And if you're on a diet and you have some sort of a sweet tooth, it will satisfy those cravings. So what you want to do first, get a bowl, get a scale, tear it. And then for me at the minute, I'm having 80 grams of oats. In an off season, it'll probably go to like 110, maybe 120 at a push. I feel like any more than that, and I just get bloated when I train. So yeah, 80 grams, that is 80 grams there. Then what you wanna do, bear with me 1 second, is you wanna pour your water into there. What you wanna do is multiply your number by 4. So if you have 80 grams of oats, you want to multiply it by 4. At the minute, because my food is so low, I do want to volumize it a little bit more. So 4 times 80 is 320. And then what I'll do is I'll probably add another 30 to that. So that'll take me to 350 mils or grams of water. For those of you that don't know, 1 kilo is 1 liter of water. So it's pretty much an equal conversion. Right, sweet. So that's 350 mil. Then from there, we're just gonna put it in the microwave for 2 minutes at first. This is so important for the consistency. Right, so that's been put in for 2 minutes. The reason why I say this is people will just jam it in for like 4 or 5 minutes at a time. And by that point, it ends up getting like super lumpy, and we do not like that. So the winning formula is 2 minutes, stir, 1 minute stir, then 30 seconds stir, and then until you get your perfect consistency, just keep doing that. I think you'd probably only need 1 set of 30 seconds and you'll be absolutely fine. So I'll do all that and then I'll show you what consistency you want it. All right then, so you can see the consistency here, right? It's a little bit on the thicker side, but I don't mind that because I'm actually mixing whey isolate with it. And for those that know, isolate makes it a little bit more runny. But if I was to have concentrate, I probably would have made the initial concoction a little bit more runny. But So now what I'm gonna do, typically I like to have about half the amount of whey in comparison to the oats for a decent texture. Because of my macros at the minute, I'm just having a little bit more than half. So I've got 45 grams of whey at the minute. So just weigh that out, pardon the pun. Right, that's done, sweet. Then what I do is I'll put my salt in. So at the minute, I'm having either pink salt or sea salt. So I'll just put like 6 grinds of that in. And then I'll put a little bit of low salt as well for like more potassium. Honestly, like salt every single one of your meals. Like if you're wondering why you're feeling super flat or you're struggling to get pumps in the gym, it might just be you're not getting enough electrolytes. So especially in your pre-workout meal, having a decent amount of salt it's super important. And if anything, I think with oats, it makes it taste better as well. And then all you wanna do is mix it at this point. What some people do is they put everything in at once, including fruit or whatever, and then they mix it and it's an absolute mess. This is the point at which you wanna mix, right? So basically just get all your whey mixed in so there's no weird lumps or anything. Okay, sweet. Now then, so that's roughly what it should look like. Then what you wanna do from there is put your dark chocolate in. So we already have 20 grams of dark chocolate cut into little chunks here. The reason why I cut them into little chunks is because the more surface area you have, the easier it melts on the oats and the less time you're gonna have to put it in the microwave. So what I do is I just put these on, and then you could wait for it to melt, but I don't have the time. So I just put it for 30 seconds in the microwave. Any longer than that, and it's just gonna go to a weird consistency. So I just put it for 30 seconds. Sweet. So as you can see there, the chocolate is somewhat melted on top and the oats is still decent consistency. Then all you're gonna do is you're gonna put 100 and, well, however many berries. At the minute, I'm having 150 grams of either blueberries or raspberries on there. I've got blueberries today. Please don't go over. Sweet. Okay, that's 150 grams. So that's sorted. Now, for the piece de resistance, all I'm gonna do is just whack a bit of cinnamon on just for that flavor. Sweet. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna scran this and watch some JoJo's. Any of you that are watching Trained by JP before you train, get it sorted out and get watching some anime. Anyways, probably the next clip is gonna be right before the gym. Right then, so we have arrived at the gym. Funnily enough, in my YouTube career, like this is the first time I'm gonna film training at the gym I normally train at. Push session on the cards today. I'm not gonna go too in depth with a full breakdown of everything we're doing. Basically, we're gonna start with abs, then we're gonna do a pec fly, then an incline press, then another incline press, then some laterals, then an incline fly, and then some triceps. My split is very chest focused at the minute, and it's about to get even more chest focused. So I think when I go onto my gaining calories, I'm actually gonna add even more volume onto my chest. It's a glaring weakness and it has been pretty much since I started training. So excited to get into a new split, but we've still got this one. We've still got a few days left on the diet, so let's get it.
Yo, yeah, it's White Tizzy, back again, billing it. However long it takes, man, I'll still be here, you know what I'm saying? Yo. New year, new money, but it's the same old me. Need the yard that don't come cheap before I get 8 gold teeth. They wanna play with sticks and stones, I'm calling them Jamie T. Up chasing coins like sun.
Right then, so technically we're gonna continue the full day of eating because I do have some calories intra-workout. So pretty bog standard. I have 20 grams of EAAs just for that protein spike intra-workout, and I have 20 grams of highly branched cyclic dextrin as well, just for some carbs, especially when you're on a dieting phase and you're feeling super flat and depleted. I feel like it can just help sustain the quality of your workouts towards the middle or the end of them. So if you're not using them, would highly recommend.
They don't sleep. Play my songs out of whip, she said keep that shit on repeat. Gotta calculate steps, I gotta take a step back and breathe. Life got busy, I turned 18, moved out, all that I had was a dream.
I'm just gonna touch on a little topic, and that's the topic of the mind-muscle connection or the pump. And honestly, I see lots of back and forth about this online, whether it's important for growth. All I'm gonna say, right, is if you think about your best body parts, I would imagine they are the ones in which you can connect best with and you can get a good pump with. And that's me with my arms and delts. Me, typically with my chest, I really struggle to get that connection. And if you look at the top level, all the bodybuilders, like the pump is somewhat important. I'm not saying the pump is the only thing that's responsible for growth, but I would say there is a correlation between being able to get a good pump
and having a good body part. So I'm not saying just chase the pump, but if you're doing something and you can't feel anything at all in terms of internal feel in the area you're working, I would question whether you are actually working that muscle. So for me, with my chest training now, I'm making sure I can actually feel my chest working in every portion of the movement. And I am seeing some level of progress, but still more to do.
People free, but I ain't Martin Luther. Nah. I just get on the stage and sing. Better be ready for stress that all of that paper bring. ADHD, I can't wait for shit. Do my own thing, I hate the script. My man looks like a clone of my man, really he ain't got drip. If I pull up, I'm trying to get paid. 10 toes down, I want set pays. Hop in the booth, the beat get laced. I make it look easy, mate. Can't break down and
We've just filmed the second set of the incline dumbbells, and it's getting hard, to be honest. Like, I don't know if you know, but when you lose a lot of body weight and body fat, especially with your presses, you lose an element of that stability. But what a lot of people do in the diet is they let that affect them mentally, and they kind of like say, okay, this is gonna be super, super heavy, it's gonna be hard. And they end up going half-assed with the way they're actually doing the set. So when I go into the set, I just tell myself, you're strong, you're gonna nail the set, and it's gonna go well. And for the most part, it does go pretty well. Obviously, you are gonna lose an element of strength, but you are a lot stronger than what you think you are. So especially in a diet, make sure you're switched on for all your sets, and you are actually putting everything you can into the sets, and you'll retain a lot more fullness and muscle throughout that diet if you do so.
blood, sweat and years. It's only when you face your fears you watch them all disappear. So bill it, let man cook no skillet. Bill it, lick it, roll it up and I lit it. Bill it, in it, pop you ready if you're with it. Billion, but I ain't finished. 10 years on, I'll be still it. Bill it, from the ground up, man, bill it.
You know what, all things considered, show day weekend, by far the lightest body weight. This session's going really, really well. Numbers have been decent, either maintained or slightly progressed. Pump is pretty decent. I know my midsection is looking tight, so what we'll do is we'll do one more set of this. We'll do some laterals and incline flies, and then we'll get into some posing, because pretty excited to see what we'll look like.
Stick with it, see results in a minute. In it, you're tripping. This kid ain't got no limit. Billion, but I ain't finished. Kept my head down, I'm still it. Do it for me, you do it for them. Don't need saving, but you want spent. Ain't joking now, I'm being Jen. I think you got too many friends. What's done in the dark will come to light in the end. Don't worry about me, I'm walking dead, but I ain't going out like Glenn. Addictive personality, so she come round again. I don't sound like them, I see man on stage and the crowd was dead. I stay out the way and not in my head, did that and I made 5k. But I need 100 times that number so I can put it away to bill it, let man cook no skillet. Bill it, lick it, roll it up and I lit it. Bill it, in it, pop you ready if you're with it. Billion, but I ain't finished. 10 years on, I'll be still it, yeah. Bill it.
Alrighty then, that is push wrapped up. Really successful session. Just had some posing and some triceps at the end, and luckily my coach AJ, he bumped into me whilst I was posing. Seemed pretty happy with my level of detail at this point in the diet, and obviously said wicked shape and everything. And after 2 hours of pulverizing my chest, he was like, right, we just need to grow a chest now. So yeah, cheers for that, AJ. But he's right. It's still, as he mentioned, like a big weak point for me, and something I'm excited to bring up over this next gaining phase. And I think for me, if I can really grow a full chest, I feel like, especially from the front, it'll help bring that complete men's physique look with the delts, the waist, the abs, the chest, everything. And yeah, fingers crossed that'll lead me to being more of a complete, successful, really competitive athlete on a higher level. So let's see. Anyways, I'm going hypo now, so I'm about to drive home and then we'll get into meal 3. Alrighty then, we are back. So now we have time for meal 3. I'm just in the process of making stuff. So if you have not got a rice cooker and you have a decent amount of rice, I would highly recommend you get some. Just cooking some rice at the minute. What I also have, which I highly recommend you get, is an air fryer as well. So I've got some chicken on one side and some whitefish on the other side. And there we have it. In conclusion, the air fryer is the greatest invention in human history. And we have meal 3. So we've got 60 grams of rice and 200 grams of cod. Pretty boring, but does the job. I prioritize my carbs pre-workout now that
obviously just want a little bit more energy. So carbs are pretty low post-workout, but still want to get a little bit in because I am going hypo at the minute. Normally my post-workout meal is like pretty much no fat as well, just because I want to get the carbs in me and I don't want to slow down the digestion of them, even though I'm on super low food at the minute. Anyways, let's get into it before I go hypo. Right then, so meal 4 and the final meal is a bunch of leaves. In all seriousness, there is some chicken underneath that. So we've got 150 grams of chicken breasts, and then we've just got a bunch of veg. So as you can see, we have got a drink that isn't water, it's Pepsi Max. And this leads us onto the topic of prep hacks, adding things in to make your prep / diet easier. For the most part, honestly, I'm not a fan of doing this. I used to do it in my first prep where you get the 0-calorie jellies, you massively volumize your oats, you get the sugar-free syrups, and 1, it massively bloats you and expands your midsection, and 2, it just encourages the cravings even more, and it just gets you massively food focused. So for me, 1 little Pepsi Max at the end of the day is just, as I said, just satisfies the cravings a little bit, but it's not to the point where it leaves me wanting more, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying they're inherently a bad thing, are the prep hacks, but what I would say is just use them in moderation and do not go over the top with them. Anyways, I'm gonna scran this down now, and then we're gonna get our little dessert afterwards. Right, so after talking all that nonsense about prep hacks, I'm gonna give you the ultimate one. It is Lindahl's Kvarg, right? The macros on this are absolutely insane. I think it's like 17 grams of protein and like 5 grams of carbs and basically no fat. So it's just like a yogurt type thing that has a decent flavor. Genuinely, I don't think pound for pound macro wise there's anything, unless you have like a whey paste or a whey sludge, there is genuinely nothing better than this. If you are on prep, this with dark chocolate is absolutely banging. And to be fair, even in off season, rather than going out for a dessert, I'll honestly probably have this because it's absolutely unreal. So just disregard everything I said with regards to prep hacks earlier and just have this. We're gonna get it down now. I'm gonna do some admin stuff and then we're gonna sign off for the video. Hello, mate. Hello, say hello to the YouTube. I'm currently just filming a little suppose day in the life, full day of eating. But just to let you guys know, this is the man who will be in charge of the next YouTube video. So it's gonna be the MBW weekend and we're discussing some big plans. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a banger. None of my fucking Parkinson's shaky hands in that one. So like and subscribe, yeah, sweet. And we are done. That is the full day of eating in my current diet. So I think it's about 2,000 calories, 215 protein, 200 carb, 40 fat on a training day. So not too bad to be fair, and we've got a few days left. Anyways, we just wrapped up the last of our work and we're actually going to watch an episode of Alice in Borderland, which is actually astronomically clear of Squid Game. Comment down below if you've seen both, which you prefer. I actually think Alice in Borderland is way better. Anyways, I'll catch you in the next one.